Hi, welcome to Chapter 2. How can families and students help keep schools open and healthy? Each student and parent guardian can play an important role in keeping our schools open and healthy. Each is like an important little puzzle piece that's part of the whole in this effort that we all have. So there are several things that we need you to do to prepare for the school year, and then some things that you'll need to do every day once school begins. So first, what are some of the things that you can do now? Number one, parents, make sure that you know how to log into your Skyward account. So if you don't, call your child's building secretary to get the password. Secretaries have been in school daily and they can provide that password for you. And I'll explain later why this is essential. Number two, register your child for this school year if you haven't already done so. So make sure that you have correct phone numbers, email addresses, emergency contacts. Also add your child's primary healthcare provider if they have one. And this brings me to number three. If you do not have a primary healthcare provider for your child, this is the time to find one. This would be a medical doctor or an MD, a doctor of osteopathy or a DO, a nurse practitioner, NP, or a physician's assistant, which is a PA. So this is a professional medical provider who knows your child's health status and maintains their medical records. If we need to send your child home with symptoms of COVID-19, this is the person you would call for further guidance or to be cleared, or to have your child cleared of mild symptoms so that they could return to school. So please, if you need help finding a primary healthcare provider, you're not sure of that process, just let me or Ann Nelson know and we can help you with that. Number four, buy a thermometer. I know that they're harder to find now and they're a little more pricey, but a temperature is a very objective measurement which can be used to determine if your child is ill or has an infection. Five, chances are your child may have to stay home sometime this year or be sent home with some mild COVID symptoms. I will cover the symptoms in Chapter 5, I think. Make plans now for how your child will be transported home or who would stay with your child depending on their age or their health condition. But make all those arrangements now before the school year starts. And then number six, buy or obtain masks for your child or children now to be prepared. More about masks in Chapter 3. So these are some of the things you'll need to do once the school year begins. First of all, keep your child healthy. Manage their existing health conditions like seasonal allergies or asthma, so that those symptoms don't mask a COVID infection. Remind your children now and during the school year to wash their hands for 20 seconds with warm water and soap before leaving to school and when they return to school. Make sure that they get adequate amounts of rest, that they eat healthy, that they're getting some outdoor exercise, that they're getting some sunshine. And do not give your child medication in the morning to bring down a fever to help them get through the day, because that always wears off. And if they develop a fever during the day, we are going to have to send them home. So we really need kids that are sick or borderline sick to just stay home for the day, to recover quickly and completely, and they can come back to school in a day or two when they feel better, and they can participate virtually in school. If your child gets sent home with certain symptoms, we may require them to stay home for 10 days if those symptoms are often associated with COVID-19. They can return sooner if they get a note from their primary healthcare provider. So the long and the short of it is, if your kids are sick, just keep them home and have them participate in school virtually if they can. Another change this year that's kind of significant that you're going to have to remember every day is that you're going to have to screen your child for COVID symptoms daily before they come to school. And they're going to have to enter it into Skyward for us. The other option is for us to screen every kid at every door as they come into every building, and we just don't have the manpower or the time to do that. So we need you parents to do that. This is called a wellness screening, and it's via Skyward. And it needs to be done every day that your child is attending school in person. You will log into Skyward using your own Skyward account, not your student's Skyward password. And if you need to save it on your toolbar or figure out how you can do it so that's quick to access and really quick to do every morning, to make it an easy routine, because we're going to have to do that every single day. You will answer 2 yes/no questions for each of your children. The first question is, in the last 24 hours, have you experienced any of the following symptoms in a way not normal to you? Fever, chills, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, fatigue, muscle or body aches, headache, new loss of taste or smell, sore throat, congestion or runny nose, nausea or vomiting or diarrhea. The second question is, in the last 14 days, have you been in close contact with a suspected or confirmed case of COVID-19 or tested positive yourself? If you enter yes to either or both of these questions, your child will be flagged red for us and for you, and your child will have to stay home until we make contact with you that day to find out what's going on. If your child answers yes to question number 2, the stay home is for sure. Question 1 is a little more gray because of the statement in a way not normal to you. So if your child has muscle aches, but they just started running cross country, there's a logical explanation for those aches. So you would not check yes for that. If your child frequently gets headaches and on a particular morning has a familiar type headache, you would not check yes, since that headache is normal for your child. So per our regular health procedure, your child should stay home if they have a fever of 100 degrees or higher, if they have nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea. And then they only can return to school once their symptoms have been gone for 24 hours without the use of medication to bring down a fever or to manage the nausea or vomiting or diarrhea. Unexplained shortness of breath and difficulty breathing are more indicative of COVID-19, so your child should stay home from school and you should either call 911 if it's very severe or contact your healthcare provider for further guidance right away. Our plan is to contact parents when your child, if they're flagged red by that screening, our plan is to contact you just to get further clarification on what their symptoms are. We're just not sure at this point how many students we'd have to contact. We're just not sure, but that's our plan, is to do that daily. So hopefully that works. Another thing to do daily is to make sure your child has a clean mask to wear. Cloth masks and gaiters need to be laundered regularly. And so now that I've mentioned masks yet again, tune into chapter 3, where we will talk about face masks.